A deafening alarm jolted Commander Jack Hayes from sleep. Red emergency lights pulsed throughout his quarters. The space station's AI voice remained eerily calm while delivering catastrophic news. Unidentified vessels have entered Earth's atmosphere. Weapons signatures detected. Planetary defense systems engaging. Jack stumbled to the observation deck. What he saw froze his blood. Massive ships, unlike anything in human records, positioned themselves in Earth's orbit. Their hulls gleamed with an alien metal that absorbed light rather than reflected it. Before he could process the sight, brilliant beams of energy erupted from the vessels, cutting through clouds and atmosphere. All personnel to emergency stations, Jack ordered, his voice steady despite the chaos erupting around him. Begin evacuation protocols immediately. The first strikes hit major cities. New York, Beijing, London, Moscow, all erupting in blinding flashes visible even from orbit. Secondary explosions followed as power plants and infrastructure collapsed. The attacking ships methodically moved to new targets, leaving nothing but fire in their wake. In the command center, Jack found his second-in-command, Lieutenant Susan Miller, coordinating with ground forces. "Who are they?" Jack demanded. "Why weren't they detected sooner?" Susan shook her head, face pale. "Unknown technology. They appeared literally out of nowhere. No warp signatures, no approach vectors. Ground forces report no communication attempts. They're just killing." On the main screen, waves of smaller craft descended through the atmosphere. The invaders were deploying ground forces. "Status of the colony ships?" Jack asked. 15 vessels ready for immediate departure. Capacity for approximately 1 million people each, replied Officer Greg Wilson, his fingers flying across the terminal. "We've initiated emergency loading protocols at all surviving spaceports." Jack made the hardest decision of his life. Implement full evacuation. Priority to scientific personnel, engineers, and children. We need to preserve what we can of humanity. For 3 days, the ships continued their assault while the evacuation proceeded. Earth's military forces fought valiantly, but were hopelessly outmatched. The attackers, now identified as the Shalari Dominion through intercepted communications, showed no mercy and accepted no surrender. On the 4th day, Jack stood in the bridge of the colony ship Defiant, watching his homeworld burn. The ship's holds were packed with terrified survivors, each carrying little more than the clothes on their backs and the weight of what they had witnessed. "Last transport arriving now, Commander," Susan reported, her voice hollow. "Total evacuees across all ships, 15,200,436. Less than 0.2% of Earth's population. Any response to our communication attempts?" Jack asked, already knowing the answer. "None, sir. They don't seem interested in talking." The final military transmission came through as the Defiant prepared to depart. Admiral Eric Barnes, commanding Earth's last defense fleet, appeared on screen. His uniform was torn, face bloodied. "This is Earth Defense Command to all evacuation vessels. We've identified the attackers as the Shalari Dominion. Ancient species, highly advanced. We're launching our final counterattack to cover your escape. Our remaining nuclear arsenal should buy you time." Static interrupted his message before he continued. "They did this without provocation or warning. Remember what they did. We will return." The transmission ended as nuclear detonations loomed across Earth's surface, humanity's last desperate attempt to strike back. The 15 colony ships activated their engines simultaneously, accelerating away from the graveyard of their civilization. As Earth shrank to a burning blue dot behind them, Jack gathered the ship's officers. "We split up. Different directions, different star systems. We stay hidden. We rebuild, we learn." His voice grew hard with resolve. "And then, when they've forgotten about us, we come back. The Shalari have made a terrible mistake. They should have killed us all." Susan nodded grimly. "They think they've eliminated a threat. Instead, they've created something worse. An Avenger race, Jack whispered. The scattered fleet of human survivors traveled through the void for months. Commander Jack Hayes' final order before separation remained clear: disperse, hide, survive. Each colony ship carried life's essentials: genetic libraries, technological data, and the collective knowledge of a dead world. John Mercer stood on the bridge of the colony ship Defiant, watching unfamiliar stars through the main viewport. As second in command, he carried the burden of 15,000 lives. Their captain had died during a close encounter with a Shalari patrol, leaving John to guide them forward. "Scan complete," announced Kate Wilson, their sensor officer. "The moon orbiting the gas giant shows promising readings. Atmosphere needs work, but has basic elements. Rich mineral deposits. No detectable civilizations or technology signatures within 50 light years." John nodded. "It'll do. Begin descent preparations." The moon, which they named Haven, became humanity's foothold in this distant corner of space. The colonists worked tirelessly, building underground habitats to avoid orbital detection. Engineers adapted Earth technologies to local resources. Scientists developed plants that could grow in Haven soil. 5 years passed. The colony flourished despite hardships. John, now their elected leader, addressed the settlement on the anniversary of Earth's fall. "We've survived," he told the assembled crowd. "But survival isn't enough. We must prepare for the day we face the Shalari again." The colonists focused on 2 development paths. First, they built defensive systems, stealth fields that rendered their settlement invisible to scans, automated defenses hidden beneath the moon's surface. Second, they constructed shipyards to build vessels unlike anything Earth had known. Ships designed for speed, stealth, and devastating hit-and-run attacks. 10 years after landing, Haven launched its first scout ship. The craft, piloted by veteran pilot Amy Foster, used revolutionary stealth technology developed by their scientists. "Keep communications minimal," John instructed as Amy prepared for launch. "Your mission is observation only. Find other survivors if you can, but don't risk discovery." Amy's 3-month mission yielded crucial intelligence. She discovered signs of other human colonies and mapped Shalari patrol routes. Most importantly, she made first contact with another species, the Talaxians. "They're refugees too," she reported upon return. "The Shalari attacked their homeworld decades ago. Only a few thousand escaped." John met with the Talaxian representatives in Haven's council chamber. The aliens, tall with smooth blue skin and 4-fingered hands, told a hauntingly familiar story. "The Shalari deemed us a potential threat," explained Nax, their leader. "Our technology was advancing too quickly. They came without warning, just as they did to your world." An alliance formed naturally. The Talaxians possessed advanced knowledge of biological sciences and energy systems. Humans excelled at adaptive engineering and tactical thinking. Together, they began building something neither could create alone: a resistance network. By the 50th anniversary of Earth's destruction, Haven had transformed. The original underground bunkers expanded into a sprawling subterranean city. Their shipyards produced vessels combining human ingenuity with Talaxian technology. Most importantly, they established contact with 12 other human colonies and 7 different species, all victims of Shalari aggression. John, now an old man, watched a new generation train for war. His granddaughter, Maria, commanded their newest ship, the Vengeance. "We're almost ready," she told him during their weekly meal. "Our intelligence network extends into Shalari territory now. We know their weaknesses." John gazed at the memorial wall where images of Earth stood alongside the names of those lost. "Remember, this isn't about blind revenge. It's about justice. It's about making sure they never destroy another world." Maria nodded solemnly. "The Shalari believe they eliminated humanity. They're about to learn how wrong they were." Lisa Reeves moved silently through the shadows of the Shalari outpost. 50 years of careful planning had led to this moment. The neural implants connecting her to Haven's central command transmitted a steady stream of data as she bypassed the alien security systems. Her mission: infiltrate the Shalari data networks and extract intelligence on their military capabilities. "I'm at the access point," she whispered into her subvocal communicator, beginning data extraction. Back on Haven, technicians monitored her vital signs and progress. The underground command center hummed with activity as specialists analyzed the incoming information. John Mercer's grandson, Peter, now served as head of intelligence operations. "She's in," Peter announced to the room. "Data stream is active." Lisa connected her specialized device to the Shalari terminal. Years of studying captured technology had finally yielded results. They could now breach Shalari encryption. Information flooded her device: star charts, military deployments, historical records. "This is bigger than we thought," Lisa reported as she scanned the data. "They've been doing this for millennia. Earth wasn't special. We were just next on their list." The records confirmed their worst fears. The Shalari Dominion had a standard protocol for dealing with what they termed emergent threats, any civilization showing rapid technological advancement. Their solution was always the same: complete extermination. No warnings, no diplomacy, only destruction. Lisa discovered records of 73 species eliminated over the past 10,000 years. The Shalari considered it their sacred duty to prevent any race from challenging their dominance. "Download complete," Lisa reported, initiating exit strategy. She slipped away undetected, boarding her stealth ship hidden in the shadows of a nearby asteroid. As she navigated back to Haven, the full implications of her discovery settled in her mind. This wasn't just about avenging Earth. It was about stopping a cycle of genocide that had continued unchallenged for too long. 3 days later, representatives from all human colonies gathered via secure quantum communication. Leaders from their alien allies joined the unprecedented summit. Peter presented Lisa's findings to the stunned assembly. The Shalari believed themselves to be galactic gardeners, he explained, displaying translated documents. They'd prune species they consider dangerous before they can overgrow their proper place. Admiral Ryan Walsh, commander of the Neptune Colony's defense forces, spoke first. "We've suspected this, but seeing the evidence..." He shook his head. "How many more will die if they aren't stopped?" The leaders debated strategy for hours. Some advocated immediate action. Others cautioned patience. Finally, Commander Sophia Bennett of Titan Colony proposed a formal structure. "We need coordination," she argued. "Independent actions will fail. I propose we establish the Avenger Protocol, a unified command structure with representatives from all colonies and allied species." The vote was unanimous. The Avenger Protocol would direct their combined efforts against the Shalari. Their first priority: establishing communication with all surviving human outposts. Deep space transmitters activated, sending encrypted messages to suspected human settlements. Over the following months, responses arrived. Some colonies had thrived in isolation, developing unique technologies. Others had barely survived. All embraced the chance for cooperation and justice. Lisa became the protocol's chief intelligence officer, coordinating a network of spies throughout Shalari territory. Information flowed to Haven: defensive weaknesses, patrol schedules, supply routes. The most valuable discovery came from a small human colony near the galactic core. They had developed a revolutionary sensor technology that could detect the unique energy signature of Shalari ships, even when cloaked. "We're not just survivors anymore," Peter told Lisa as they reviewed the combined intelligence reports. "We're becoming a force they can't ignore." Lisa studied the holographic display of Shalari territory, thinking of Earth's burning cities. "They destroyed our world without a second thought," she said quietly. "Now we're going to show them exactly what they created." Commander Alex Foster studied the holographic display of the Shalari outpost. The isolated station orbited a barren moon at the edge of Dominion space, far from reinforcements. The perfect target for humanity's first strike. "Final systems check," Alex ordered, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment. 8 stealth ships waited in formation, their hulls barely visible even to each other. Each vessel represented the pinnacle of human innovation, technology born from desperation and refined by determination. "All ships report ready," replied his second-in-command, Paula Winters. "Strike teams standing by." Alex took a deep breath. 70 years had passed since Earth burned. 70 years of hiding, planning, and preparing. Today, the waiting ended. Begin approach. Weapons hot. The ships glided forward, their advanced stealth systems making them practically invisible to Shalari sensors. As they neared the outpost, Alex activated the ship-wide communication. "Remember your training. Remember our mission. This isn't just about vengeance. It's about justice. Neutralize their defenses, secure their command center, capture their leaders. Minimal casualties if possible." The first Shalari patrol ship never detected them coming. A precise energy pulse disabled its engines and communications simultaneously. Boarding teams deployed within seconds, securing the vessel before the crew could respond. "Patrol ship captured," reported team leader Ian Brooks. 20 prisoners secured. No casualties on either side. Alex nodded in satisfaction. "Maintain position. Groups 2 and 3 proceed to the outpost." The attack unfolded with precision born from decades of planning. Strike teams breached the outpost's outer defenses using technology reverse-engineered from Shalari designs. The defenders, unprepared for such a coordinated assault, fell back in confusion. Inside the outpost, Sergeant Kelly Davies led her squad through the alien corridors. "Command center ahead," she whispered, detecting 12 life forms. The humans moved with practiced efficiency. Stun grenades, modified for Shalari physiology, disoriented the alien commanders. Before they recovered, Kelly's team had secured the room and all its valuable data terminals. "Command center captured," she reported. "Station administrator in custody." Throughout the outpost, similar scenes played out. Within 40 minutes, the entire facility was under human control. The final count: 87 Shalari captured, only 3 casualties among the defenders, and 0 human losses. In the main control room, Alex faced the captured Shalari administrator. The alien, tall with mottled gray skin and 4 arms, stared at him with obvious shock. "Impossible," the administrator said through the translation device. "Your species was eliminated. Our records confirmed total planetary sterilization. Your records were wrong." Alex replied coldly. "We survived. We rebuilt. And now, we've returned." The interrogation revealed crucial information. The Shalari Dominion was not as unified as it appeared. Ancient rivalries divided their society. Several species under their rule secretly resented Shalari dominance. Most importantly, they had enemies, powerful civilizations that maintained uneasy truces with the Dominion. "This information changes everything," Paula noted as they reviewed the captured data. "We're not alone in opposing them." Within hours, the outpost was stripped of valuable technology and intelligence. The prisoners were secured aboard the largest ship, destined for a secret detention facility. As final preparations for departure began, Alex received an unexpected communication from Haven. "Commander, we've been contacted by representatives of the Draxon Collective," reported Peter Mercer. "They monitored our attack and wish to establish contact. They've opposed the Shalari for centuries." Alex smiled grimly. "Tell them we're interested in talking. Very interested." As the human fleet departed, they left behind a single message burned into the outpost's main wall. "Remember Earth." When Shalari reinforcements arrived days later, they found only an empty station and confused reports about ghosts attacking with impossible technology. The Dominion High Command classified the incident as an anomaly, perhaps pirates or mercenaries using stolen equipment. They were wrong. It was only the beginning. Captain Olivia Bennett stood in the darkness of her ship's bridge, watching the massive Shalari supply convoy through specialized view screens. 6 enormous cargo vessels moved in tight formation, protected by a dozen warships. They had no idea they were being hunted. All ships in position, her tactical officer reported quietly, as though the Shalari might somehow hear them across the vacuum of space. Olivia nodded. Activate Shadow Protocol. Around the convoy, 5 human vessels simultaneously engaged their revolutionary stealth systems. Developed under Olivia's guidance over the past decade, the technology didn't merely mask their presence. It bent light and energy around their ships, creating a void that Shalari sensors registered as empty space. Remember, precision strikes only. Olivia instructed her fleet. Target engines and weapons. We want these supplies, not debris. The attack began without warning. Human ships materialized seemingly from nowhere, firing specialized disruptor beams that overloaded Shalari shields. Before the convoy commander could organize a defense, 3 escort ships drifted powerless. The Shalari responded with characteristic efficiency, forming a defensive screen around their cargo vessels. Their weapons fired into empty space, hoping to hit the phantom attackers. They still can't track us, Olivia observed. Phase 2. Her ship dove toward the largest cargo vessel, deploying magnetic clamps that attached to its hull. Boarding teams in specialized armor cut through the outer plating while the battle raged around them. Inside the cargo ship, squad leader Frank Cooper led the assault team through alien corridors. Engine room secured, he reported over the tactical net. Engineering team beginning download of navigation data. Similar reports came from the other captured vessels. This wasn't just a raid for supplies. It was an intelligence operation. Every ship's navigation computer contained recent coordinates, patrol routes, and communication protocols. On the bridge of the lead cargo ship, Frank confronted the Shalari captain. Unlike previous encounters, this officer showed no surprise at seeing humans. "You attack from shadows like vermin," the alien said through its translator. "The Dominion has taken notice of your cowardly strikes." Frank smiled coldly. "Good. We want them afraid. We want them looking over their shoulders, never knowing where we'll appear next." Within 20 minutes, the human forces had downloaded all relevant data and transferred valuable cargo to their ships. As they prepared to withdraw, Olivia ordered a final message transmitted directly to Shalari High Command frequencies. The ghosts of Earth remember. Back at their hidden base in the Arcturus Nebula, Olivia presented their findings to the Avenger Council. Representatives from human colonies and allied species reviewed the captured data. "The pattern is clear," Olivia explained, highlighting trade routes on the holographic display. "The Shalari are diverting resources from their outer territories to strengthen core defenses. They're starting to fear us." Lisa Reeves, now the Council's intelligence director, added, "Our sources within the Galactic Council report increasing questions about Shalari military activities. Several neutral species have filed formal complaints about aggressive patrols near their territories. For 3 years, humanity had waged a shadow war against the Dominion, never revealing their full strength, never claiming responsibility publicly, simply striking, vanishing, and striking again where least expected. The results were becoming evident. Shalari merchant ships traveled in heavily armed convoys. Military vessels patrolled in packs, wasting resources chasing sensor ghosts. Most importantly, their attention had turned inward, away from identifying new civilizations to destroy. "The economic impact is significant," reported Krell, their Draxun ally. "The cost of securing their supply lines has tripled. Several subject worlds are showing signs of unrest as resources grow scarce." Olivia studied the tactical display showing their next targets. "We're not just fighting a war," she told the Council. "We're creating doubt. For millennia, the Shalari believed themselves untouchable. Now their people whisper about invisible enemies. Their leaders face questions they cannot answer." The Council approved her next operation: simultaneous strikes against 3 communication hubs, linking Shalari core worlds to their frontier territories. "It's time to isolate the beast," Olivia said as the meeting concluded. cut off its limbs from its heart. Grand Admiral William Carter adjusted his formal uniform as the human delegation prepared to enter the Galactic Council chambers. After 5 years of shadow warfare, humanity was finally ready to step into the light. The massive doors, designed to accommodate beings of all shapes and sizes, slowly opened before them. "Remember," William told his team, "today we speak for Earth and all those who came before us." The council chamber fell silent as the human delegation entered. Representatives from 300 species stared in shock. Some recognized the bipedal form from ancient records. Others knew only rumors of the ghost warriors who had been terrorizing Shalari forces. At the center of the chamber stood the council's circular platform. The 7 presiding members, chosen from the galaxy's oldest civilizations, watched the humans with open curiosity. Among them sat a Shalari elder, his gray skin pale with apparent disbelief. "You have requested an emergency session of this council," spoke the Altaran chairwoman, her crystalline form shimmering under the chamber lights. "Identify yourselves." William stepped forward. "I am Grand Admiral William Carter of the United Human Colonies. We are the survivors of Earth, a planet destroyed by unprovoked Shalari aggression 90 years ago." Murmurs erupted throughout the chamber. The Shalari representative rose immediately. "This is absurd. Earth was classified as a quarantine zone after its civilization self-destructed through nuclear warfare. These beings are imposters or laboratory creations of our enemies." William nodded to his technical team. They activated the chamber's holographic system, and suddenly the space filled with images. Earth before the attack, the Shalari fleet descending, cities burning, millions fleeing. The final transmission from Earth Defense Command played for all to hear. "These records were preserved by our evacuation fleet," William explained. "And we are not alone in our experience." New images appeared, dozens of worlds burning under Shalari weapons. Data scrolled alongside each: dates, population figures, technological achievements reached before destruction. For millennia, the Shalari Dominion has systematically eliminated any civilization they deemed a potential threat. 78 species extinct. Billions of lives ended without warning or provocation. The Shalari representative sputtered denials, but William continued, activating a final display. Captured Shalari military records detailing their prevention protocol for eliminating emerging civilizations. "We have shared this evidence with Council security. Their authentication systems will confirm its validity." The chamber descended into chaos. Species representatives conferred urgently with their delegations. The presiding members called for order. During a brief recess, William met privately with allied representatives who had secretly supported humanity's campaign. The Draxon ambassador clasped his arm in solidarity. "It's working. 3 major trading alliances have already called for sanctions against the Dominion." When the session resumed, William delivered humanity's terms. The Shalari leadership must stand trial for crimes against sentient life. Their military must withdraw from occupied territories. Reparations must be paid to survivors of their aggression. The council debated for hours. Finally, the chairwoman announced their decision. "The evidence presented is compelling. This council will establish a special tribunal to investigate these allegations against the Shalari Dominion. In the interim, all Shalari military forces are ordered to stand down and return to their core systems." The Shalari representative's voice cut through the chamber. "The Dominion rejects this council's authority in security matters. We have protected this galaxy from chaos for thousands of years. If you move against us, you invite your own destruction." He stormed from the chamber, followed by the Shalari delegation. William received an urgent communication from human intelligence. Massive Shalari fleet movements detected. They're mobilizing everything they have. The chairwoman approached William as the session ended. "Your people have awakened the council to a terrible truth, Admiral. But I fear you have also provoked a desperate response." William nodded grimly. "We anticipated this, Madam Chairwoman." The Shalari would rather burn the galaxy than face justice. He activated his command link. All forces to battle stations. Operation Final Warning is now active. The last Shadow War had ended. The real war was about to begin. The final battle raged across 3 star systems. The Shalari had committed their entire military might. Thousands of warships gathered from across their territory. Against them stood the combined forces of humanity and their allies, alongside ships from 24 species who had joined their cause after the Galactic Council revelations. Admiral William Carter directed the human fleet from his flagship, the Retribution. The massive vessel represented the pinnacle of human engineering, built in secret over decades for this very day. Status report: William ordered as enemy fire flashed against their shields. Shalari's Central Fleet is fully engaged, his tactical officer reported. Allied forces have drawn them away from their homeworld as planned. Phase 2 is ready. William nodded. Signal Captain Bennett. Operation Sunlight begins now. Across the battlefield, Captain Olivia Bennett received the order. Her specialized squadron, ships equipped with the most advanced stealth technology ever created, activated their drive systems. While the main battle consumed the Shalari attention, these 12 ships slipped through their defenses, heading directly for the Shalari throne world. Remember your targets, Olivia instructed her pilots. Government centers only. No civilian areas. The stealth squadron deployed their payloads, not bombs, but thousands of data pods. Each contained complete records of Shalari atrocities, broadcast directly to every communication device on the planet. For the first time, ordinary Shalari citizens saw the truth their leaders had hidden for millennia. Simultaneously, the human fleet executed a maneuver that had been impossible before their secret alliance with the Draxon Collective. The Retribution activated a revolutionary drive system, teleporting instantly behind the Shalari command vessels. The sudden appearance of the massive warship threw the enemy into confusion. Target their flagship, William ordered. Disable only. Precision weapons fire cut through the Shalari defenses. Within minutes, their central command vessel drifted powerless. Special forces teams boarded immediately, capturing the Dominion's military leadership. The battle ended not with destruction but surrender. As news of their leaders' crimes spread across Shalari worlds, military commanders began standing down. Within hours, the once mighty Dominion collapsed from within. 1 month later, Admiral Carter stood again before the Galactic Council, this time to dictate terms of peace. The chamber was filled with representatives from across the galaxy, including newly liberated species who had lived under Shalari rule. Humanity doesn't seek vengeance through extinction, William told the assembly. That would make us no better than those we fought. Instead, we propose a new order. The terms were clear. The Shalari would be confined to their home system for 100 years. Their leadership would face trial for crimes against sentient life. Most importantly, a new protectorate would be established, a coalition of species dedicated to preventing similar atrocities. Never again will a civilization be destroyed simply for having potential, William declared. Each new species that reaches for the stars deserves the chance to fulfill their promise. The council voted unanimously to accept the proposal. 5 years later, William stood on a hillside overlooking New Washington, the capital city of restored Earth. Terraforming technology shared by grateful allies had helped heal the planet's wounds. Green forests now covered land that had been scorched to ash. In the distance, the gleaming towers of the new Galactic Protectorate headquarters reached toward the sky. Before him stood a simple monument, a wall of black stone engraved with the names of Earth's lost billions. At its center, a message was carved in hundreds of languages from across the galaxy. Here stood humanity, destroyed but not defeated. We returned from the ashes to create a galaxy where no other world will suffer our fate. Humanity remembers. Humanity protects. Humanity avenges. A group of school children approached the monument, some human, others from various allied species. Their teacher explained the history that had led to this moment, the burning of Earth. The years in hiding, the Shadow War, and finally, the new peace. As William watched them place flowers at the memorial's base, he thought about the long journey from that terrible day when Earth burned. Humanity had transformed from victims to avengers to protectors. The stars above no longer held only danger, but promise. A promise humanity would ensure was kept for all who looked to the heavens with hope. 100 years after the final battle, the galaxy had changed beyond recognition. The Galactic Protectorate flourished under shared leadership, with representatives from over 500 species serving on its council. The day marking the centennial of peace had been declared a universal holiday across inhabited space. On New Earth, Daniel Hayes stood before the ancient monument to humanity's greatest trial. As a direct descendant of Commander Jack Hayes, who had led the original evacuation, he felt a special connection to this place. Now serving as Earth's representative to the Protectorate, he had come to reflect before the anniversary ceremonies began. "Quite something, isn't it?" asked a voice behind him. Daniel turned to see an elderly Sholari approaching slowly. The sight was no longer unusual. After decades of carefully managed reintegration, Sholari now served alongside other species in the Protectorate. This particular Sholari wore the distinctive robes of their Historical Truth Commission. Elder Krell. Daniel greeted him with the traditional Sholari gesture of respect. "I didn't expect to see you here today. Where else should I be?" Krell replied, his forearms moving in a gesture of contemplation. "My ancestors caused this tragedy. My generation has tried to atone for it." They stood together in silence, reading the words that had guided the galaxy for a century. Humanity remembers. Humanity protects. Humanity avenges. "Do you know," Krell said carefully, "there are some among my people who believe that final words should be changed, from avenges to something else." Daniel nodded. "The debate happens among humans too. Some say our mission is complete, that guards or unites would better reflect what we've become." Their conversation was interrupted by the arrival of a small ship landing nearby. From it emerged representatives of the newest species to join the Protectorate, the Novelli, a crystalline race whose civilization had been discovered just 10 years earlier. Ambassador Hayes called their leader Shimmer, her crystal form catching the sunlight. "We hope to visit this sacred place before the ceremony." "You're welcome here," Daniel replied. "This monument stands not just for human loss, but as a reminder of what cooperation can achieve." As the Novelli examined the memorial, Daniel's communication device activated. The holographic image of Fleet Admiral Sophia Bennett appeared. "Daniel, we've detected something unusual at the edge of settled space," she reported without preamble. "An energy signature unlike anything in our records. The science team believes it may be a new form of faster-than-light travel. Hostile?" Daniel asked immediately, centuries of caution ingrained in human leadership. "Unknown, but massive, suggesting either many ships or something very large. It's approaching the Rigel system." Daniel looked at the memorial once more, then at the diverse group gathered before it. Human, Sholari, Novelli, and a dozen other species who had arrived to pay respects. "Deploy the first response fleet," he ordered, "but send our diplomatic vessels ahead. Open channels on all frequencies with greeting protocols." "Understood," Sophia replied. "First contact package ready for transmission." After ending the communication, Daniel turned to find Elder Krell watching him closely. "A test," the Sholari observed. "The universe sends us a test on this of all days." Daniel nodded. 100 years ago, humanity might have responded with weapons first. The Sholari once destroyed worlds out of fear of what they might become. He gestured to the diverse group around them. "Now we all face the unknown together." The gathered representatives departed for their ships, protocols developed over a century of peaceful cooperation automatically engaging. Whatever waited at the edge of known space would not find divided species easy to conquer, nor would they find aggressive enemies eager for war. Instead, they would meet the legacy of humanity's darkest hour, a united galaxy that had learned its hardest lessons and emerged stronger. As Daniel boarded his ship, he took one last look at the memorial. Perhaps someday that final word would change, but for today, it remained a reminder of the price paid for the peace they now enjoyed.